Okay, so hey, let's dive in. Like, I hope you guys are ready. I am ready. I am so excited. Um, just been learning some stuff recently. I love being in the learning phase. I'd like to say that I'm reading this new Grant Cardone book, but I hadn't even picked it up yet. I've got a couple other books that, oh my goodness, it's just rocking my world. I'm loving it. So, all right. So last week we talked about steps of becoming the person that you were meant to be, which that is the focus, right? Becoming the person that you were meant to be. Okay, we talked about there's a dream, there's a vehicle or a plan that presents itself. And a lot of times, like for me, I talked last week how I didn't get the dream until I saw the vehicle. I wasn't walking around Eastern North Carolina with a dream of making a lot of money. Are you kidding me? Like, I mean, we didn't even wear shoes in the summertime. Like all we were doing is like, we were playing baseball. We were, going to the pool. We were whatever. So when I saw the business plan, that like I can do that. And if I can do that, then I can make how much money? And it's passive income. And I've been taught how to be broke. I've been taught how to go to school, get a good education, get out and work for somebody else. I mean, I went to school. I really didn't get a good education. Never kind of got a college degree, but I was still taught, go find a job. Go find a job. My mom used to say, go find something you love. Just find something you love. Well, I didn't love anything. I wasn't good at anything. As a matter of fact, we've moved this past week. We've moved, okay? Moving has reminded me how much I don't like a job, okay? Because like when we move, like my wife, like she's in charge, like she knows like, what doing and all this stuff. And I can't tell you how many times this past week I've not been where I'm supposed to be. Like I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not there and I'm not doing it. Like, I mean, do y'all know how I feel? Do y'all know, have you ever felt that way at your job when you have a boss look at you like, hey, where are you? I don't know. Like they're not asking you to identify your location because they don't care where you are. They just want to know where are you, and they want to find out why you're not right here doing what they want you to do. Like, I'm not good at that. Like, I'm not, I don't know. Where do you want me? What am I doing? Okay, so it's reminded me. I'm not good at working a job. I'm never going to go back to working a job. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm not. If I work for you and you pay me to work for you, I'm very seldom ever going to be at the right place at the right time. I'm very seldom ever going to be where you want me to be, and that hurts me because I don't want to be someplace you don't want me to be. It's just that I'm not good at figuring that out. Like, I'm good at figuring out, like, where do I want to be? Well, I want to be over there smoking a cigar. Like, that's where I want to be. I want to be over there playing golf. I want to be over there hitting golf balls. I want to be over there eating lunch, or I want to go, like, I know where I want to be. Okay. So there's a dream, there's a vehicle, no matter whether that's one or two or in whatever order. But once there's a dream and there's a vehicle, then there's resistance, there's negative, there's warfare, there's the process, there's the faith process, there's overcoming to become, and then there are victories. Thank God, but there are little victories along the way, right? We never feel like we get where we want to go, but there are little victories, okay? But that's the process of becoming the type of person you were meant to be. And we talked about how the process, it never goes the way you want it to go. It's humbling, to say the least. It is a very humbling process. Always requires a much bigger cost or price, however you want to say it, than what you start out thinking it's gonna it's going to cost, but it's somehow worth it. Somehow it's more worth it than you can ever imagine. It's just really, it's this thing called life, and it's living a life that matters. It's living a life of significance. It's living your best life. Okay. So that's what we talked about last week. Okay. My question this week, and this is some of the things that I've been learning is like, okay, so yes, John, I've gone through that process. I have, and here's where I am. Okay. And here's the thing. Some of you guys feel like you're at a much smaller level than somebody else. Like some of you guys may compare yourself to a Mike Hall or a Claudia Matthew or a Dave Stewart or an Ollie. You may compare yourself, and if I compare myself to an Ollie Collins, I may feel like I'm at a lesser level. But here's the thing. The truth is that we really don't know, do we? Like, we are wherever we are, and there's nothing we can do about it now to change it. The only decisions we can make is moving forward and like going to our next level or going to greater levels. So last week was about becoming the type of person you were meant to become. This week, I want to deal with the fact that whatever level we're at, that's the level that we have to start from tonight, and we have to challenge ourselves to go to the next level. We have to challenge ourselves to go to greater levels. So when people ask, how do I do that? Well, the answer to how is faith. Faith is how we go to any other levels, personally, professionally. How do we get there? We get there by faith. We get there through major sacrifice. We get there through going back. And this is what's monotonous to a lot of us, is we get there by going back to where we maybe were before. Like we thought we outgrew that. Like, oh, I can't believe I'm back here again. Oh my, well, look at what it did for you then. Like, why do we get away from what causes us to move forward? You know, when people talk to me about moving forward and some of the blessings that we've had, I'm just going to tell you, one of the first things that comes to my mind was simply the obedience of personal production. I didn't want to go out there and personally produce. I wanted to recruit. But the situation that I was in, I had to realize it's like God finally got me to the point where he was like, okay, I got you. Like, I know you want to recruit. I know that going out in the field, you feel like is something you don't need to do, but I've got you where I want you now. I've got you having to borrow money from your 18-year-old kid who's going to college to pay the light bill. You got to go produce. Ha! And so what I didn't realize was that embracing that was the greatest blessing to building that I could have ever imagined. Well, John, that's like, I don't get that. So personal production was the greatest catalyst to building your agency. Yeah, I know. Isn't it weird? Isn't it crazy? And it's something that, truth be known, it's something that my wife had mentioned to me years earlier. Like, John, like, okay, so I'm building this company. I'm getting paid to build the company. And my wife comes to me and my wife says, you should go out in the field every once in a while. What? Like that didn't make sense to me. Like, I'm getting paid to build a company. I've got to build faster, bigger, better. I got to get people building. And she just said casually, it was never anything more than casually, but several times she just said, I think you probably ought to go out in the field. Like, I didn't get that. But then fast forward to 2016, and boom, I have no choice but to go out in the field. And then bam, God did more growing my business while I was out in the field writing 5, 6, 7 applications a week than I could have done building my door. Than he did more in 6 months of me being out in the field writing 5 applications a week than I had done my whole career. I'll come back to that. So how does the next level come? How do I get to greater levels? How do I get from 2 writing agents to 10 writing agents? How do I get from 10 writing agents to 30 writing agents? How do I get from 30 to whatever? Tell me, don't tell me, but tell yourself, tell me the thought process that you have, because I know you have it. We all do. But tell me the thought process that you have that just simply reeks of fear. Like you fear doing it. Like, do you fear going out in the field and writing business? Do you fear going up and introducing yourself to 5 people a day and asking them if they're open to the idea of making money on the side of what they're currently doing, part-time financial services, business ownership? Are you scared of that? Do you fear doing it? What do you fear doing? And I will tell you, if you will be honest engine with me and you will tell me what you fear doing, I will tell you that's most likely what you need to embrace and you need to go do. Some people fear giving. Some people fear, when I talk about tithing and offering, some people start to like, oh, got to go, man. I'm getting a text, got to go. Well, I can just tell you, you can go out there and work all you want to. You can be God's gift to the insurance business. You can go out there and fool a lot of people, but I'm just telling you, if you don't ever develop a spirit-led giving life, I'm just telling you, you're missing out. You're missing out. Some of you need to get out in the field and personally produce. Some of you, I don't care whether financially you don't feel like you need to. I'm just telling you, your organization's not where it needs to be for you not to be out in the field full time. Yeah, but John, if I go out in the field full time, I'll have less time to build. I know, and you need to be out there full time, because the speed of the group is determined by the speed of the leader. And if you, being the leader of your team, if you will go out there and absolutely get on fire, your organization is going to get on fire. I promise you. Faith is how you get to the next level. And here's what faith is. Here's the part of faith that sucks. With faith comes tremendous sacrifice. So something that was taught to me this week was that dream or / vision does not bring the result. I've got a big dream. Good. I got a vision that burns inside of me. Good. Your dream and your vision, the only thing that they bring is obstacles, problems, resistance. Your sacrifice, your faith is what overcomes those obstacles. Your faith and your sacrifice and your commitment overcomes the negative. And that's a daily, that's an hourly, minute by minute deal. but it's your faith and it's that sacrifice that brings the results. So I had a guy teach this back early in my career, which it reminded me when I was learning this, it came to my mind. But this guy says, what do you want? What do you want? Number 2, when do you want it? Number 3, what are you willing to give up to get what you want? What are you willing to sacrifice? That was taught to me back in 1993, 1994, and it never hit me until this past week when I was learning this. What do you want? When do you want it? What are you willing to give up to get it? Because if you ain't willing to give up anything to get it, then you ain't ever going to get it. You ain't ever going to get it. That's the difference between having a real dream versus a pipe dream. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you right now putting on the back burner? What are you right now sacrificing to get to your next level? If it's nothing, then guess what? You're not getting to your next level. You're not growing. If you're not getting outside of your comfort zone, if you're not, that ain't gonna work. I think Barry covered that really, really well. Covered that really, really well. I don't know what that light was. Okay. I got a dream. I got a vision. I know what I'm willing to give up to get it. I'm willing to pay the price. Like, I'm there. Okay, boom. Good. I am too. I am too. As much, I haven't sacrificed anything compared to what I'm willing to sacrifice right now. Based on what I know, I came to Equus because of Barry Clarkson. I sold all out to the equity bonus because I thought, wait a minute, I'm going to get paid a percentage of the company that Barry's building, not what I'm building. The only faith I had in me was to build enough to maybe get first tier equity bonus. But you know what I know? If I got first tier equity bonus in a company that Barry Clarkson was building, that was going to be the best 401k I could ever hope for. That was going to be my annuity, because I knew that 0.25% of the company that Barry Clarkson was building was going to be far greater. So when my 0.25% back in May of 2017 was $3,000 a month, hey, it was no big deal. Hey, it was, I tell you what, at that point in time, that was a tremendous blessing. So now fast forward, we're April or May of 2019, and the equity bonus has more than doubled. The equity bonus was $7,100 this month. $7,000 first tier equity bonus, $7,100 in 30 days. Give me a percentage of a company that Barry Clarkson's going all in to build. That's I don't need to know anything else. I don't need to know anything else. And if I've had an advantage over some of y'all, it's that I knew Barry before you did, and you know. It is what it is, but all of y'all now know Barry. All of y'all now know Barry. And now some of y'all knew Barry even before I did. So you know what Barry's going to do. What Barry's doing at Equus is not a surprise. I'll say that. It's not a surprise. It's not a shock that Barry Clarkson is shattering the industry and doing what he's doing. Not a shock at all. That's what his leadership does. Beware of distractions, especially as we're coming into the summer months. And listen, let me say this. Your family and spending family time, it's not all a distraction. So don't play that game. Don't, anytime, you know, your spouse tries to create a family event or something, don't think, oh, it's just a distraction. Don't do that. That's not what I mean. What I am saying is that we're now coming into the summer months. We've got Memorial Day coming up here in a few weeks. So I'm just going to tell you, we have to deal with that. Like, we have to plan out, like what distractions am I going to allow? Like, we've got beach time here. We're going to take a long weekend here. My family likes to go to the pool on Saturdays. We like to do Sunday afternoon cookouts. Like I'm going to plan my distractions as best I can, because I may even have reduced time to work. It's like coming up at Christmas time. It's like coming up at holiday time. I may have reduced time to work, but if I know that, then I can plan it and I can do as much work in the reduced time if I have to. Beware of distractions and beware of the person that doesn't manage their distractions, because every distraction, whether you or me, or whether we like it or not, every distraction comes at a cost. So manage those. The Bible, or history, I should just say history teaches us that there's two things that causes us to miss the promise over our life. Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Yeah, I think all of you can say you do. Okay, so there's a promise. If you have a dream, if you have a vision, there's a promise for that fulfillment. Okay, so there's two things, historically, there's two things that keep people from realizing their promise. Number one is disobedience. Okay, so number one is being disobedient, and number two is being fearful. So fear causes us to not act. Action cures fear. So being fearful and being disobedient causes us to miss it. Whatever it is, it causes us to miss it. And the thing about it is we don't want to miss it. We've worked too hard. We've come way too far. We don't want to miss it. Okay. Regional manager, and I'm kind of getting into the latter part of what I want to teach, and then I will open it up for conversation. Regional manager is simple. Regional manager is 10 people that want to make some money. 10 people want to make some money, want to be happy, want to enjoy long weekends. That's all it is. What question are you asking people? I think that if you were to ask 10 people, are you open to selling insurance? I'm in the insurance arena. Have you ever looked at the insurance industry? If you ask those questions to 10 people, I'm betting you I'll get better results by asking people, hey, are you open to making some money on the side? Or have you ever thought about owning your own business? Have you ever thought about developing some passive income sideline to what you're doing? You see, we're both asking questions. It's just that my questions are results oriented and your questions are activities oriented. I'm glad that when somebody showed me the Amway business back in 1993, I'm glad they didn't come up to me and say, hey, would you like to go and sell soap? No, I don't think I'd like to do that. The question that was asked to me is, are you open to making some money on the side of what you're doing in golf? Making money on the side of what I'm doing in golf? Absolutely. What are you guys doing? Well, we're doing some things that mirror and matches franchising, but we've got an opportunity meeting on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock in Raleigh. Can you put that on your calendar to come find out more about what we're doing in the distribution business? Yeah, absolutely. And then when I went to the opportunity meeting, what was shown to me on the board was duplication, was building a network, and how if I just found a few people and helped them find a few people and then help them find a few people, I can make $2,000 to $3,000 a month on a part-time basis. Now, $2,000 to $3,000 a month may not sound like a lot of money to you, but I was making $276 a week. $2,000 to $3,000 a month, dude, I would have been rich. And the person showing me that opportunity said I could do that about 6 to 8 months. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep. Thank God somebody didn't ask me, hey, do you want to go sell products? I don't think so. Something I've taught probably too much, but I'll mention it tonight, is when you're to be an effective recruiter, there's the hole and there's a drill. There's a hole and there's a drill. If I were a drill salesman, if I were selling a drill, power drill, if I were selling one of those, I think probably the most effective thing I could do is to find out if somebody needed a hole. I've said this before. I don't think very many people in the history of the world, in the history of ever since drills were created, I don't think very many people ever woke up on a Saturday morning and said, I think I'm going to go to Home Depot and buy a drill. I think I'm going to go to Lowe's and buy a drill. I think I'm going to go to the hardware store and buy a drill. Like, who wakes up and who wakes up and says, I think I'm going to go buy a drill? But I do think there's been millions of people that have found that they needed a hole. Maybe they were putting together something, but that like, hey, I need a hole. Hey, there's something that's been invented. It's called a drill, and it will make a hole. Boom, I'll be right back. I'm going to go down to the store, and I'm going to buy me a drill. Why do I buy a drill? Because I need a hole. If I were a drill salesman, I certainly wouldn't be guilty of going, I've got a nice drill here. It's black and it's silver. And if you mash this button, mash it, that's Southern. If you press this button right here, it goes forward. And if you press that button right there, it goes backwards. It's, do you want a drill? Would you like a drill? They come in different colors. Would you like a drill? Do you want a drill? I think the mistake people make in our business is they're really good at trying to sell a drill to people that don't need a hole. So what I do and what I try to get people to realize is that you've actually got the vehicle that brings everybody in the United States of America. It gives them what they want. What do people want? They want money. They want time. They want freedom. They want to be free. Do they want to sell insurance? No, don't think so. But get back to that freedom part. Like, I want to be free. I want to own my own business. I want to duplicate myself. Do you think everybody that owns a McDonald's wanted to own a McDonald's restaurant? Do you think everybody that owns a McDonald's wanted to own a hamburger restaurant? The drill or the hole? If you will get good at talking about the whole, and if you will raise in people an awareness for their need of a whole, you will sell a lot of drills. And if our business, if you'll get really good at talking about the results that insurance sales produces, would you like to be able to go out there and make $2,000 to $3,000 a week? Andrew Pappas out there, a friggin' meter reader. Andrew, would you like to go out there, and we've got this thing called leads, and if you go out there and you sit down with 10 to 12 people a week, you're going to make you about $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a week. Would you like to go out? He texted his Uncle Ollie, and he said, Ollie, I think I may be interested in what you're doing, or something to that. He can show you the text. There's a lot of people that's gotten into the insurance business because they met a guy. Hey, how'd you get in the insurance business? Oh, I grew up and I just always wanted to be an insurance man. I had my mama bought me a briefcase, and I used to wear my daddy's sport coat, and I used to run around my house playing insurance man. No, that's not how people got into the insurance business. How do people get in the insurance business? Oh, I met a guy. Tell me about that guy you met. Oh, man, he drove this beautiful car. He was at the golf course every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I met a guy. Well, what interested you about that guy? The result that he made. Hey, what do you do to make that result? And in some way, shape, or form, that guy talked to them about what he or she does in the insurance industry. The drill or the hole. You get freaking good at that, and you will grow like crazy. My challenge to you is that we live, work, study, play, and shop. We live, work, study, play, and shop. We live, work, study, play, and shop. That's our network. I don't care if you run ZipRecruiter, but I will promise you this, you're not going to develop a huge organization via ZipRecruiter. Can you hire people in ZipRecruiter and get really good at getting them to develop a list of people that aren't going to apply to one of your Zip ads? Yes, and you need to do that like now. Like, get good at that now. And in addition to getting into depth from your cold market, don't stop your cold market. You just need to get to the point where you're sick and tired of, you're not going to believe those people anymore because those people lie to you. They don't know you. They don't have any skin in the game. You're not getting your big butt out of your office and getting your eyeballs in front of them so that they fall in love with you. If you did, they'd fall in love with you because there's a lot to fall in love with. You're awesome. All of you guys are awesome, but they're not going to fall in love with you or me by us sitting in our house or office talking to them on the phone. They're not going to fall in love with us because we get them a $19.99 deal through Excel. Oh, he's getting me my insurance license, cost me $19.99. They don't fall in love with that. They don't fall in love because I'm sitting in my house or my office. They fall in love when you get your butt in your car and go drive 70,000 miles a year. Get in front of people. Learn what they want. Learn their fears. Learn their dreams. Learn their family. Learn their kids. Learn about them. Let them know that you're there to help them. Invest in them. Invest more into them than their families ever invested in them. Where do you live? Where do you work? Where do you study? Where do you play? Go make an impact there. Go make an impact there. And I'm going to say this. I probably shouldn't because it's really not that big a deal, but it is. Like, people will make a comment like, I'm not like John. I can't talk to everybody. That's bull. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do anything you want to do. And I say that because none of y'all on here, except for Ollie Collins, none of y'all knew me back in 1993, 1994. I couldn't talk to anybody. Nobody wanted to talk to me. And you know what? Frankly, I don't want to talk to them. But I had this mentor, and Ollie had the same mentor. He was a guy named Paul. And Paul was just, oh my goodness, he was so pretty. He was so good looking. He was an all-ACC quarterback at the University of North Carolina. He was in shape. He walked, it was like he floated. And when you saw him and he shook your hand, you were just dumbfounded, like, how are you, John? I guess I'm fine. I don't know. See, and we met this guy, and we all wanted to be like him. We all wanted to be like him. And when he taught how he made all this money, he talked about how he went out and just met people and said, hey, you look familiar. Where do I know you from? And he said that we all grow based on the amount of seeds that we sow. And he said, isn't it interesting that if you see a guy sowing seed, that yes, you could take one of those things and you can throw seed out there, or you can put your hand in a sack and you can fling seed out. I remember doing that as a kid with my dad. And he said the same thing happens when you take your hand out and you shake somebody's hand. That's sowing seed. Hey, how are you? My name's John Kight. What do you do? You look familiar. Where would I know you from? What type of work do you do? And here's what he challenged us. He said, you can't say hello and be friendly to somebody and start a conversation with them, and you can't talk to them for 2 or 3 minutes without them giving you a great reason for you to call them, almost like it was fate. Almost like it was fate. Like, oh man, think about the thin thread about me being at this gas station right here, 3:30 on a Wednesday afternoon, and lo and behold, you're here at 3:30 on a Wednesday afternoon. I engaged in conversation by just saying, hey, I really like that truck that you're driving. What year is that? Oh, is it really? It's a 2016. It's beautiful. Is that like a special edition? It's beautiful. Hey, no, it's come here, look at the interior on this thing. Oh man, that's awesome. Man, what type of gas mileage? Does it get good gas mileage? That's great. Man, look at the tires on this thing. Man, those rims, do those rims come with it? Oh, man, that's fantastic. Hey, listen, I got to finish pumping my gas and get out of here. My name's John Kight. What's yours? Your name's Bob Johnson. Hey, Bob Johnson, what do you do? Oh, you work right down the road at the oh, man, is that what you went to school for? Is that do you enjoy doing that? You don't? You don't? You went to school for something else, and you're, oh, okay, so that's not like a lifelong dream of yours. Okay, great. Well, listen, man, funny how we met like this, but hey, I got to get going. But hey, if you'll jot your name and number down for me on just maybe a back of a receipt or something, give me a way to get in touch with you. I'm doing some things on the side. I'm working with people just like you, helping them develop sideline income. And if you'll just give me a way to get in touch with, I can't promise anything, but hey, next time we have an opening, I'll give you a call. He taught us how to do that. And I went out there and did it, and I was horrible at it. Horrible. But every time I did it, I came out of my comfort zone. And here's what I learned. Every time I came out of my comfort zone, something amazing happened. I developed more confidence in me. This guy from Eastern North Carolina, I can do that. Every time, all I had to do was come out of my comfort zone and risk being foolish, because sometimes I would engage in conversation with people and they would just look at me like, I don't believe I know you. Well, you look familiar. No, I don't really have time to talk today. Oh, man. Like, oh, that was rejection. Oh, my goodness. And you know what I figured out? It wasn't any big deal. I was never going to see those people ever again. It was no big deal. All they did was they acted more foolish than me by being a butthole. And then you know what I did? I could pull up to the next gas station and go, hey, man, I really like that car right there. And what I found out is if I engaged in about 12, 15 conversations a day, I would get about 3 to 4 really good prospects to call and say, hey, I don't know if you'll remember meeting me, but we met at the Sheetz gas station on Tuesday afternoon about 3:30. Man, you were showing me your truck. And generally when I would say that, they would say, yeah, I remember meeting you. Why did they remember meeting me? Because I talked to them about them. I talked to them about something they were interested in, and I may have been the only person all week to let them talk. It was this thing called people skills. Ollie, you remember that? We learned that every week. We read this little book called Skill with People. We read Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. We ate that stuff. Because what Paul taught us, Doug Toops, you know, what Paul taught us was that the more people skills we develop, the bigger our group would get. So wait a minute, all I've got to do is learn that people are 10,000 times more interested in themselves than they are in me. And when I talk to people, if I talk to them about them and let them talk about them, they like me and think I'm smart. But if I talk about me and I don't let them talk about them, they don't really like talking to me, and I'm not a very good conversationalist because all I'm talking about is me. Is that right? I got it. I can learn that. So the art of making people feel important. People move mountains for people that make them feel important. The best coaches in the NCAA that make millions of dollars, what do they learn how to do? They learn how to make their team feel important. They learn how to make each individual feel important. Barry Clarkson taught me this back in 2007. Everybody walks around with a red blinking light on their forehead. You know what that blinking light says? Make me feel important today. And the world is owned by people that learn people skills. The best salespeople are the people that learn people. The best doctors, the best attorneys, the best CPAs, the best anything, the best restaurant owners. They're people that learn people skills. So where you live, work, study, and play, and shop. Where you live, work, study, play, and shop. I'm challenging you tonight to go make an impact. I'm challenging each and every one of you to do what I'm doing, and that is I'm going to go out and I'm having 25 to 30 conversations with sharp, young, productive people every week. These are people that look the part, and I'm having conversations with them every week. I'm writing their name down, and I'm calling them up, and I'm saying, hey, my name's John Kight. I'm not sure if you were going to remember meeting me, but we actually, I was getting coffee at the Starbucks the other day in Wakefield, and we had you do remember that? Fantastic. Hey, listen, I think I mentioned to you that I actually own a company. I do some things in financial services, but I'm actually putting together a team of professionals where we're going to do some things on the side, but we're going to do it together, and we're going to really engage with tax-free retirement and mortgage protection and final expense. Hey, I know I mentioned something to you about it, but are you really right now in a position where you're keeping your options open to making some money on the side of what you're doing? Are you a fan? I'll tell you what. Would you mind putting me down in your calendar, and let's grab another cup of coffee for about 10 or 15 minutes? I'd love to share a little bit more about what we're doing in depth. I'd love to show you some of the leads we're generating And I'd love to talk to you about a company that we're working with called Equus Financial. Love to let you know a little bit about their president and CEO, a guy by the name of Barry Clarkson. So when's going to be good for us to grab that cup of coffee? And here's the thing. If I crash and burn and they're not interested in business ownership, what's the chances that I may possibly write an application on them and help them develop tax-free retirement or life insurance with living benefits? I don't know, but we're getting ready to find out. Here's what my challenge to each of you is. We have to grow, and if we're going to grow locally. If you're going to grow out across the United States, it's going to be because you've got a good local team and depth. The depth takes you out, not width. The width is done locally. The depth is what takes you around the country. And there's a lot of money in that. Okay. Boy, I'm sorry, guys. I went way over. I was thinking based on my notes, it probably about a 20-minute teaching session, but looks like I've gone about 45 minutes. So I apologize for that. Does anybody, is there any questions at all out there? Anybody have any questions? Okay. I'm looking up here at the, any questions? We'll give it about 30 seconds. Any questions at all? Okay, what were the two books you referenced about the, okay, Skill with People. Skill with People is a, Skill with People, it's a little blue book. I think it's out of print, so you're going to have to get it off of Amazon. But it's actually a summary of a bigger book by Les Giblin, L-E-S. Les, his last name is Giblin, G-I-B-L-I-N. Les Giblin, and it's called How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. How to have confidence and power in dealing with people. If you guys can get a hold of those two books, I'm not a huge fan of How to Win Friends and Influence People, although I do think there's some great information in that book. But I will tell you guys, if you can get a hold of How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin, and get the little blue book called Skill with People. And again, Skill with People, the thing I love about Skill with People is that you can keep it in your bathroom and literally you can read that book in one sitting, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, it's a summary. You can go through, and the thing about it is that as you're in the process of really developing you and developing your width, that book is just, it's awesome to kind of read through it on about a weekly basis. So read the bigger book, make notes, but then put that little blue book, Skill with People, keep that in the car with you. I'm telling you guys, going through a car wash or you know, going to sitting in the bathroom for, I mean, I'm just telling you, you can read through it. It's pretty awesome. Life-changing, really. Can go over the follow-up call, give the pointers such as financial services. I'm not sure of that question. So when I call somebody up, basically I'm just checking their interest. I've already met them. I met them at a coffee shop, or I met them at breakfast, or I met them at lunch, or I met them at a gas station. And maybe when I meet people, I just, you know, if they give me a reason, I don't just come out of the blue and say it. Okay, so I'm not talking about spear chunking people. But if they give me a reason to mention that I own a business and I'm looking for people open to making some money. Now, it's not that I don't ever just come out of the blue and say it, okay? But I'm just saying I have to get a good feeling to do that. But what I'm looking to talk to are people that look like look at the regional managers. Like seriously, like look at the whole regional manager team. And think about each one of them, especially think about each one of them when they got involved in the business. How old were they? Probably between 25 and 35. Yep. How did they look when they got in the business? So how did they look maybe 10, 15 years ago? That's who I'm looking to have a conversation with. I'm looking just for it to kind of be just a chance type, hey, I met this guy at a gas station, who would have thought? And then when I call them up, Charmaine, I call them up and I say, hey, my name is John Kight. I don't know if you'll remember meeting me, but we met at Starbucks on Tuesday afternoon. Do you remember that? You do? Okay, good. And here's the thing, Charmaine. If I call them within 2 to 3 days of meeting them, they're going to remember me. Okay? They're going to remember the conversation. And so I just say, I am doing some things in financial services. I'm working with a company called Equus Financial that's owned and operated by a guy named Barry Clarkson. And I'm actually putting together a team of people locally where we're going to work together and we're going to drive distribution to some top-rated insurance carriers. Are you open to sitting down and finding out a little bit more of what we're doing? And I will tell you guys, in a lot of different places around the United States, you're going to see some Equus Financial offices popping up. I know here in North Raleigh, I know that I'm very excited about putting an office where we can actually have these people come and interview in a nice professional office. So I'm very excited about that. Anybody else? Any questions out there? Okay, thank you, Carmen. Okay, if there's no more questions, if anybody does have questions and they want to ask on GroupMe, I'm more than glad to answer. Okay, I'm seeing two questions, but I'm pulling up the same one. So, okay, Brad, you see anything on your end? Any announcements, anything?
No, sir. I think you answered them all.
Okay, man. Thank you guys so much. God bless. Go out there and make it a great week. By the way, guys, we've got Barry Clarkson tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on our leaders call. It's going to be awesome. Equus Tough is going to be alive and well, and is going to be live on our conference call tomorrow morning. Please, even if you have to move an appointment around, please do your best to plug in live. God bless.